Hi, everybody. Diane Bondi here. Welcome to my series on yoga trailblazers. And I'm here with my friend and colleague and editor of the newest, greatest yoga book on Amazon, Yoga and Body Image, a new anthology, Miss Guest Jelley. Yay! I feel like Kermit the Frog.
Hi, I'm
Yay!
excited to be here.
I am so excited to talk to you. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm going to put it right out there. You are one of the major factors and forces in me coming to terms with my bigger body on the mat and not feeling so alone. When you and I met,
Wow.
when I wrote the article, Yoga Isn't Just for Skinny White Girls in Elephant Journal, because I had
Yeah,
a little meltdown on my mat, and
yeah.
you were one of the very first people who reached out to me, and that is when I really felt invited into the yogi or into the curvy yogi stratosphere that is you. I want to thank you
Mm,
for having a brave and fearless heart and putting together Curvy Yoga, for speaking your truth, for being out there, and for being an advocate for yoga, body image, body size, body positivity, and love. I've really been following you for a long time, and I want to thank you for coming to the mat and for sharing your time with me today. Thank you, Anna. I really do appreciate you and love you.
thank you. Oh my gosh, I wish you could see me. I have chills.
It's so true. It's so true. When you contacted me, I was like, there are other people out there who feel the same way and who are doing big things in the community and who aren't
Yeah,
afraid to put themselves out there. And I find that's the biggest issue I find with people with bigger bodies doing yoga. They kind of want to hide. They don't want to be out there
yeah,
as much. So what made
yeah.
you move forward with this? What made you say, I'm going to stand up and talk about this?
You know, it's interesting when you just said who aren't afraid. My first thought was, I am still afraid. But I think that what happens is because I believe so much in getting this message out there, because I know how alone I felt, like you
Mm-hmm.
just shared for years, that to me it feels worth it to work through the fear. It's not that
Nice.
it's not there for me so much anymore. So, I mean, I think I am becoming more and more comfortable over time, for sure. That makes sense. But it's something where when those fears come up, because they definitely still do, I try to go to my tools to work with them, whether that's getting support or getting on my mat or journaling or sometimes even now just seeing like, oh, I'm feeling fear right now. Okay. Just acknowledging it rather than kind of like trying to push it under the rug, which is what I feel like I did for like 20 plus years.
Do you feel it's your yoga practice and the more you become comfortable with your yoga and yourself that these are the strategies that you've learned?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I have any fear or self-doubt, I mean, all of that comes up for me. And I would say fairly often that I can now locate that in my body. Like, where am I feeling this in my body? And
Hmm.
then find a way to shift it from there. And yoga is 100% responsible for that.
That's excellent.
Before I was on the mat, I just didn't have a way to even think about that connection between feeling and the body, or much less to actually feel it and do anything about it.
It's pretty amazing. It's an incredible
Yeah.
tool for a lot of people, and I'm glad you're out there talking about it because so many people feel excluded from the mainstream media image that we've been seeing since we talked last. So I
Yeah.
think it's been about 2 years since we had our first
Oh,
webcast. I know life is
time
going by
flies.
quick. So much has changed. I find that yoga and body image
Yeah.
has really been pushed to the forefront. And why do you think now? Like, why do you think people are changing their attitudes about it now? Why do you think people are speaking out about it more now?
I mean, honestly, in a lot of ways, I think it's what you just said, where when one person sees another person who's talking about it, they feel less alone. They may feel more empowered to join the conversation, to talk about it in their local community, to blog about it, whatever. And for all the sort of challenges of social media, I really feel like it's been a tool for people to take the images of yoga, like you're be doing so beautifully, back into their own hands. Like we don't have to wait for someone to validate us. We can say, this is who we are. We can show our bodies. We can inspire other people, empower other people, and then they take it on from there.
It's
So I think
true.
in a lot of ways, that has given us this real grassroots ability to reach out and meet people. Because when I started Curvy Yoga, it was because I'd wanted to find something like it. I never did. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just like start a blog, see what happens. You know, and that now is almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
And that's exactly the process of just kind of meeting people, seeing, oh, I'm not alone, realizing the conversation is not only needed, but that people are excited about it and that it
Yeah.
can really change things. And I think we have seen, exactly like you said, even in a short amount of time, a lot of change. To where when Melanie and I started our conversations around yoga and body image, it was because almost no one else was blogging or talking about it online. So it was easy for us to find each other because
Right.
we were kind of like the only people doing that at the time. And so then to see from then to now, where I almost feel like it's starting to become weird not to talk about yoga and body image,
It is.
is pretty amazing. And I think that's the testament to all these people all over the world, really, finding their pockets of the conversation and joining it until it just kind of becomes this chorus of voices.
It is amazing, and there's so much strength in numbers. And we just saw
Yeah.
this month the Yoga Journal picking up the torch and offering a yoga and body image issue, or the body issue. And I think it's really
Yeah.
interesting. A lot of people have criticized it because there's still a lot of mixed messages
Hmm.
in the magazine. But I was
Yeah.
thinking 3 years ago when we started, or three to 5 years ago when you really started the conversation, Yoga Journal wasn't even listening then. So it's a big step to have them
Right.
at least acknowledge it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so for sure. I feel like that is kind of the most known yoga print publication,
It
and to
is,
have
yeah.
that conversation in there and getting out to people and having like your beautiful picture in there and excerpts from the book. I mean, that's amazing.
It is.
And I think we can work with mixed messages over time, you know?
Yes. And we get them all the time anyway, right? In mixed messages. The beauty of
Exactly.
it now is we're more conscious of mixed messages, so we can identify them
Yeah.
and pick the message that best suits us, right? And
Yes. Right.
I have to give them props for at least trying. I'm hoping that it won't be on their list of things to do, check off and move on to something else. I hope it's going to be an ongoing conversation. Like, I hope it's not like, well, we did the body image check, so we'll move on. I hope it's going to be ongoing
Right.
and not be just a specialty issue, but have maybe every
Yeah.
issue have at least one person represented, whether they be culturally or ethnically diverse, bigger body, just something a little different that
Yeah.
includes all of us.
Yeah.
I just find Yoga Journals a little homogeneous for me. You know, it's
Yes.
just a little all one thing. So I'm hoping we can stir the
Yeah.
pot and add some flavor. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm
Yeah,
just
I love
saying.
it.
So I wanted to talk about Curvy Nashville. What, you have a yoga studio? Like, you have a real live brick and mortar yoga studio. How is that going?
I know.
It's crazy,
It's
right?
going great. Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
going on, right?
I'm initiated into the life of a yoga studio owner, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty intense.
Yes.
But it's sort of like intensely wonderful and intensely challenging. And I like that combination of intenseness. So I'm still, and we'll see, you can let me know if this dissipates. I'm still in the phase of like waking up in the middle of the night and thinking, oh my gosh, I hope the studio hasn't burned to the
Oh
ground or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That'll go in about a year.
A
Yeah,
year. Oh
about
my
a year.
God.
I'm sorry. About a year, you'll be like, fine. It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
that's
Yeah.
that's fine. You told me the truth. That's good. But
Excellent.
what our vision really was,
Mm,
and when I say our, I have a wonderful studio manager, Liz, who completed my 200-hour training
nice.
a year ago. So our vision is really for it to be a very welcoming yoga space, but also a body positive kind of community center where people can come and hang out. And if people want to do things like workshops, whether they're related to yoga or not, book clubs, all that kind of stuff. So that community is really starting to grow already. And this is just our second week of class. So
Oh,
I feel
wow.
positive about that. I mean, it's definitely, smaller class sizes, but I
Sure.
feel
You're
like
just
that's
starting
how it
out.
goes
Yep.
when you have a studio. And
Yep.
the fact that we have people there consistently for our various classes throughout the week, I feel really positive about
Absolutely.
that.
You're just
Yeah,
starting. You're just hitting the ground right now. So know this.
exactly.
When I opened my studio, it was the same way. I think around the second or third year of the studio, then it was like busy all the time and lots of things going on. So it's just a walk before you run type of thing. So I think it's amazing
Yeah,
that
definitely.
yeah, that this is in your community and that you have this space to really embrace that body positive message. So having said that,
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried. I don't know how you feel about this, about the body positive becoming kind of a buzzword
Hmm.
that loses its meaning. I notice a lot of people are
Mm,
using it in ways that are counter to what we're trying to accomplish with that word. How do you feel about the word body
hmm.
positive and how it's evolving over time and how people in marketing are using it to actually sell other things that are not so body positive?
Right. Well, I feel like that is what happens. Like that's
Yeah.
happened for yoga too, right?
Yes, definitely.
So when something sort of gets on more people's radars, I feel like that happens. And I think that would happen with any term
Hmm.
that we had. So I feel like it's less about the term and more about just the work that we continue to do to raise awareness about what we think it really means and what we hope that the message will do. And when we see it being used in ways that are appropriative, that we can call that out and be like, I'm not so sure that this is actually body positive. And to claim that, to me, body positive is really about being authentic about where you are with your body journey. Because so many times people will come to me and say like, I don't always actually feel positive about my body. Like,
Sure,
is it okay if
that's
I kind
true.
of think about body positive? And I'm like, yes. To me, it
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean feeling positive every moment of every day, but more being in a process around all of it, which I think we all are, me totally
Yes,
included.
absolutely. I
I
feel
kind of
you.
feel like that's going to be the work of the rest of my life. So,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So, having said that, the book is out. It's been out for all of 2 days and it's doing extremely
Yes.
well. It's number one on Amazon, number one best selling yoga book. I check it every day because I'm so excited about it. Tell me about the process around this book.
So I met Melanie Klein, my co-editor, about 3.5 years ago through a piece that she had written on Elephant Journal, speaking of, about feminism, yoga, and body image. And she was also aware of my work that I was doing there and on my website around curvy yoga. So at the time, this conversation was really just happening in small pockets. And so Melanie and I found each other with relative ease because it just wasn't a ton of people talking about it. And she said, hey, let's do a call. So I was like, okay. But in my mind, I was like, we'll just chat and whatever. She was already thinking like, yeah, we have to do something together. And I was kind of like, we'll see. So
Yeah.
I remember that I was at work and Melanie and I, she's on the West Coast and I'm on East Coast. So we had to kind of find a time that would work. And it was the afternoon. And I got on the phone with her and it was just like we just had so much to talk about,
Nice.
and so much that we were both excited about around thinking about yoga, feminism, and body image. And when we first started this conversation, we thought it was going to be more about yoga and women and feminism. But then through the course of several months, when we were kind of trying to figure out like what should we do and what format should we take, we realized that body image was really the issue that was rising up to the forefront more specifically. And once we realized that, we were just like, it's a book and it has to be an anthology. Melanie and I both have our personal stories around yoga and body image that we probably could have just written a book, just the two of us.
Yeah.
But it was very important to both of us from our personal and our political backgrounds to bring in a diversity of voices because we didn't want it to be, yet another example of when body image is just sort of about like white women,
Hmm.
but to like, have a real depth and breadth of experience so that
Nice.
anyone who picks up the book can hopefully find some resonance. Now, of course, we're both highly aware that 25 stories can never be representative of all people,
Of course.
but we hope that with the diversity we have in the book, that people can say like, oh, this resonates with me, or just inspire people to think more about how body image affects them personally, and also how yoga students and teachers can think about how it's affecting our community too. Because
Absolutely.
yoga, although it's certainly not only a physical body practice, most people are coming in through that door, right? So they're going to yoga classes, they're coming in through the physical first. And so for us to have such a physical oriented practice in a lot of ways and not talk about how people feel about their bodies just felt like,
A
how is this
disconnect.
happening? It felt
Yeah,
like a disconnect. And
absolutely.
that's what Melanie and I really wanted to fill with this book.
And I think you've done it brilliantly. There's a few reviews up on Amazon right now of people who've actually read it in the past 2 days, and it's inspiring and outstanding because, of course, it's the first of its kind, and it digs really deep into some very personal stories. So I want to thank you and Melanie
Yeah.
for having the courage to put yourselves out there and to inspire others to share their story, because I'm so excited to have been invited. I couldn't even believe it when I got the email. I'm like, me? Oh, me? Great. You know what I mean? I think
Yes,
I,
totally you. Well,
amazing.
I feel the same. Yeah, I'm so grateful to you for sharing your story, which is so powerful. And anyone who hasn't read it yet should definitely check it out. You're such a beautiful and open-hearted writer, and I know that your
Thank you.
story is going to resonate with so many people.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
Yeah,
hard to write because it was intensely personal, but I thought it's it's
yeah,
important to share ourselves as we are, because there's somebody else out there who's going through the same things and thinks they're possibly alone, the same way that you and I
yeah,
met, because I thought for sure I was the only big person, because that's all I saw in my yoga class ever. I look around and go, oh, look, yeah, the biggest brown spot in the room. We have to just have an honest conversation. I did accidentally fall into a group, a Facebook group, where somebody was annoyed with the whole idea. They made this comment about glamorizing unhealthy bodies by promoting,
Oh,
bigger
God.
people doing, and why is the message what I look like? And, or, I can be healthy and skinny, and I have been a size 2, and I have, I've run marathons, I've been in that whole fitness thing, starving myself to be there, eating 2 apples a
Yeah.
day. And you're going to tell me because I look a certain way I'm healthy? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like,
Yeah.
holy
Oh,
cow.
I totally know what you
Do
mean.
you get that flack?
Yeah.
Do people come at you with that whole message? Like you're promoting an unhealthy lifestyle?
Yeah. Sometimes they do, for sure.
I just,
And
yeah.
sometimes I engage it, and sometimes I just ignore it,
Yeah.
honestly, because sometimes I'm just like, this person is so far off my radar and out of my community that
I
it's
don't
not
need to
even
engage
worth
them.
my like time to
Yeah, or
educate them.
yeah.
And I feel like oftentimes those people are so entrenched and committed to their beliefs.
There's no
And I
changing it.
feel like it's coming from a place of their own fear about their body too, because
Mm,
they're also subject to like all the media and society messages about bodies that I am, that
yes.
I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to change their mind in this like comment on a website or, whatever,
Yeah.
stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. So
Oh yeah.
I get it, but I also like really pick and choose when I engage it.
I think that's so
And
wise.
in some ways I feel like guilty about that, I guess. Like I should be picking it up every time, but I also know that for me, like
You
it's
can't.
really draining to have that conversation. And I would rather focus my time and energy on sharing with people, not preaching to the choir, but reaching people who, are interested in learning more, I guess. Because when
Yes.
it's coming from a place of like, is this really okay? Because so many people have like never thought that you could be healthy at different sizes or whatever. Like, I'm a lot more interested in having that conversation around the ways that we've kind of been miseducated and, you know, the all the like true profit that's invested in the diet business and all of that, with
Hmm.
people who are like interested in body acceptance, but it just feels hard to believe,
Yes.
versus the people who are, I feel like, are just trying to like pick a fight.
So it was nice to be
Yep.
to have a kinship and a community to fall back on. So what's in the future
Yeah.
for Curvy Yoga Nashville, for Anna Guest Jelley? What's happening for you moving forward?
Honestly, I feel like this year has brought so many things that when I'm looking ahead to next year, I kind of feel in some ways it's going to be soaking it in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
letting the community grow here in Nashville. And the way that I've always been with Curvy Yoga and grown it is just following the thread of what people are asking for, what people are really wanting, ways to connect more and more. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that,
Which
see
is
kind of
perfect.
where people are heading, and we'll see. It
Awesome.
feels good to be in a place of like a lot of things have come to fruition, and now I'm just open to where things take me from here.
Which I think is the most beautiful and authentic way to live your life, and the most beautiful and authentic way to share your message. It's been an
Yeah.
absolute joy to be in your community, to share in your light, and to be a part of the wonderful things that you are doing in this community. You're a beacon for all of us.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. And I am so grateful to be connected with you.
It's
Yeah.
so fun. So you and I'll have to do some kind of now that Melanie's had her time with you. Now you and I need to do some kind of project, which could be really really fun.
You love it.
Love it. So
Yeah, definitely.
to hear, yeah, I can't wait to hear more about what Anna is doing and to be a part of her Curvy Yoga community. You can check her out, and I'll make sure to put in the description box down below, and I'll put an annotation somewhere here on the screen. You want to visit her at curvyyoga.com, and I encourage you to check out her podcasts. Your podcasts are tight. I really enjoy
Thank
listening to the
you.
interviews that you do, and there's a lot of great resources, materials, and opportunities to practice, create strategies around a curvy practice. She's a great resource. So please check out her website. Again, it's curvyyoga.com. This is Anna Guest Jelley, Trailblazer, visionary, and all around just awesome yoga chick. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for listening. It's great to be here.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you on the web. Namaste.
Namaste.